Hey everybody, this is Mike, and this is gonna be my, you know what, I'm gonna butcher this name. I always called this game Suikoden. I think it's Suikoden, so, sorry, but again, gonna end up butchering the name, I'm sure, a few times, because it's kind of what I'm good at. So, yeah, alright, so, I'm probably going to boy, I don't know. I guess focus a little bit more on the combat system in this game. And here I realized I could actually stick my full name in here. So I was like, heck, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna be Michael for once instead of just Mike. Mike gets a little boring once in a while, I guess. But anyways, this game is actually really fun. It had been years. Oh my gosh. I don't even... Gotta be honest, I don't remember the last time I actually played this game. Probably 15 years ago, at least. Something like that. The game actually became available on PlayStation Network. I'm not exactly sure exactly when, but I'm a little behind the curve when it comes to PlayStation Network these days. I actually pretty recently bought my PS3. I mean, this is already, this is 2014, August 2014, the end of August, mind you, 2014. So, I mean, the PlayStation 4 is already out, so obviously I don't know. I never, I guess I had an Xbox, like a 360 and stuff for so long that I didn't feel like it was all that useful to get a PS3, and then, well, some things happened. So here I am with a PS3 enjoying these games on PlayStation Network. So anyways, so we are meeting Emperor Barbarossa, something like that, with this is the hero's father, Tio. And basically Barbarossa is sending him north. I guess I forget the actual geographical location, but he's gonna be we're not gonna be seeing him for a long time. And the hero is then being assigned basically some duties while his father's gone. And here, Windy, it seems weird to me. Does that not seem a little odd of something that the emperor's wife would say? I mean, I don't know. It seems odd. You can actually talk to that guy back there too, and he has a little bit of dialogue, but I forgot, so I actually just skipped it. And then here you have to speak to Craze. But so Windy says, comments, "Oh my, what an attractive young man." So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but it seems like an inappropriate thing to say to. I don't know. Maybe it's just that's a good compliment. I'm not sure. Anyways, so that is Commander Craze. Obviously, he's not. I don't. To me, the first time I saw this scene, I was like, okay, well, he's a military commander. He's kind of a hard case. But you'll find his character develops a little bit more later. Actually, his character gradually develops. So, anyways, T.O. comments that, he's surprised that you're assigned to such a weakling. So, obviously, his opinion of Craze is not very high either. So, and here we have finally the, I don't know what you call Gremio. Gremio is like the heroes. He's always looked after him. I don't want to say like a manservant, but I guess manservant. And here's the hero's best friend, Ted. One thing I should have mentioned actually slightly before you talk to Ted. Before you walk upstairs, so you have a choice. You have a choice at the very, very beginning of the game here. And you can do kind of one of three things. If you don't go upstairs, and you can actually go down here and buy some equipment and stuff, and go outside and try to fight, and try to gain levels and whatnot. I would not recommend doing this. If I could do this all over, because I did actually grab Ted and I came in here and saved and stuff. But anyways, if you go outside right away when you're alone, you get access to, I believe it's the Fortune Rune. And the Fortune Rune doubles your experience in every battle. A lot of people don't think that that's very good because your experience in battle is basically capped based on your level anyway. Which that's a valid point. That is a very valid point. So again, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. And in here, I guess, what did I do? I just came right down to Lenin Camp, I think, to sharpen my weapons right away. Which is, I guess, okay too. But so again, basically, what I would say though is, if you really want to just set yourself up like insanely and like make yourself insanely powerful for the rest of the game, would actually to be not exactly doing it this way. If I could do it again, I would say go by yourself and walk over to Rockland, which is actually east of Gregminster, and there's a guy there called Marco, and I hope I have footage of it. Actually, I know I have footage of it somewhere. But what you do is you save inside Rockland, you go to the inn and save there, and then go play Marco's game. Marco is a character that's running around in town. Marco has a game where it's basically a gambling game, and what it ends up being is it's a cup and then a coin, and so he's got it's 3 cups and a coin, and you have to try to keep your eyes on the coin, and if you guess where the coin is at, you win the game. Well, there's a trick to it, and if you want to take advantage or not is completely up to you. But again, what you want to do is you save and then bet his 100 bits or potch or whatever it is called in this game. But if you bet the 100, and win or lose doesn't really matter, but if you write down what order or where that coin ended up, and you just keep doing that until you run out of money, so you have like, what is it, 1,500 bits, I think it is. I think it's bits. Yeah, it's bits. At the beginning of the game. So if you can play it 15 times. If you lose every single time, that's just fine. It doesn't really matter if you win or lose. But the key is, at that point, what you want to do is restart your game. Don't save. You just restart your game. And then when you talk to Marco again, the pattern will be exactly the same, and that's why you write it all down. So that will get you. I mean, in all honesty, it's a complete cheat. If it's completely taking advantage of the game's, I don't know, lack of. I guess I don't even know how to say it. But, it's just taking advantage of the game system. So, again, completely up to you whether or not you want to actually do it. But now, so there's basically two other choices that you can make. The first one is if you want the rune that doubles the amount of experience you get, you have to walk all the way to. Gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of the town. I want to say it's Sika. I'm pretty sure it's Sika. And once you get there, again, I'm pretty sure I have footage of me actually going to Sika, and that's actually should be coming up here. But and that'll get you the Fortune Rune. Now, again though, if you walk up the stairs right away and initiate that dialogue with Ted, you will no longer have access to that Fortune Rune until much later in the game. So again, if you want that Fortune Rune that doubles the amount of experience you get, you have to go with the hero alone, all the way to Sika. And I would just say, if you're planning on really doing this ridiculous undertaking, you can do it in a couple different ways. So here we have Marco finally. And so again, you can do it in a couple different ways. I guess the way I would recommend doing it is, again, coming here first, watching this pattern, write down the pattern, and then basically just take advantage of it. Bet 1,000 right away, and you'll win that. You'll win another 1,000 So then you'll have 2,000 to work with. Basically, just keep working your way up in the bets until you basically run out your pattern. And once your pattern's up, then you just want to save, and then you can rinse and repeat if you want. You can wait and get as much bits if you want. Obviously, I had a ton here. I had more than I was gonna need for the next probably 10 hours worth of probably more than that of gameplay. And then you can actually kind of walk around to these shops too and just check if there's any. I don't think the Rockland shop even has anything that's worth buying. I could be wrong. Maybe those leggings were the only thing that Ted could have. I don't remember. So you'll have to actually check these shops out yourself and figure out the best equipment setups for your characters or whoever actually you decide to go all the way to Sika with. But yeah, again, so I mean, really, long story short is, again, you have to decide which rune you want right off the bat. That's all right, and I've spoke about this for quite some time, and I haven't told you what the other rune is. Anyway, so the other rune, if you take Ted with you all the way to Sika, again, you can't get that fortune rune, but instead you'll get the prosperity rune. And the prosperity rune will actually double the amount of bits that you get at the end of every battle. So, if you're gonna use the Marco trick, there's not really any point to getting or to using the prosperity rune. You're gonna have more than enough money for probably the rest of the game. If you really take advantage of it. So, in my opinion, if I could have done this different, and I didn't, I actually would have got a lot more out of the fortune rune, in all honesty. So, again, up to you. It really depends on if you want to take advantage of Marco's pattern, or however you want to say that. But before making the journey to Sika, I would definitely recommend sharpening your weapons. This blacksmith is the only one that you have access to right now, and she can only sharpen up to level 5. So once you're at level 5, then you're good to go. And I guess or if you've got tons of money, you're gonna want to upgrade your armor as well. And that's the other thing. If you don't want to take advantage of the Marco trick, you can go outside of town and just grind out some monsters, and it shouldn't take you too long to get the amount of money that you need, to upgrade your armor and whatnot. But again, up to you, completely up to you. Or if you don't even want to make it, and then here's your third choice. Really, is if you don't want to make the journey all the way to Sika, you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. But I will say the other thing is, at the very, very beginning of the game, you are incredibly weak, and most of these monsters outside of town can just wipe you out immediately. So, again, I would stress saving, for one thing, and really choosing your battles. You have to really choose your battles. I want to say that the easiest fight is the one with is it the Bonbon? I think that's the name of these enemies. They're the little furry blue ball things. I'm pretty sure they're the Bonbons. But there's different formations, and there is one particular formation with just one Bonbon that you should be able to win. If you don't get that particular battle, you may end up just trying to run away. I guess is probably my recommendation, because otherwise they're gonna if there's 3 of them at a time, or if there's one formation with like 2 crows and a boar. I think there's a formation with 2 boars. The majority of those are all just gonna destroy you right away, up until you either get a good amount of gear or put on a couple of levels, because they just do so much damage to you at the beginning of the game. But anyway, so we're on to this is, I believe, Mount Tigerwolf, and you've got actually another very, very good powering up, I guess, opportunity here. You can wait a little bit to do this until a little bit later when you're a little more powerful, but you can do it now, if you really want to. Ted is still a little bit of a liability, unfortunately, here. He really needs to put on a few levels before he becomes a bit an asset, really, frankly. But once he does, the battles get a bit more safe. I mean, he's going to be doing respectable damage and not taking too much. There is one enemy formation here that is really difficult, and that's the one with, I think it's like 6, I want to say they're called the killer rabbits. And that battle is just tough. Really, it's tough. And I would recommend if your levels are high. See, I'm already at 16 and 17 right now, so it's obvious. I've spent a ton of time leveling already. But anyway, so back to the whole like powering up opportunity here. There's two ways to do it, and these killer slimes are insane. They drop what's called the water fragment, and the fragments in this game, what they actually do is you can attach them to your weapons, and they'll give you different effects. And I'll talk a little bit more about. There's the water rune piece right there. So, I just was talking about it, and I just got one to drop there, and that's a huge deal. Those are they're awesome. I can't stress how good they really are. Again, and there's different types. There's different, or I should say, there's different attributes: water, fire, lightning, so on and so forth. But the great thing about the water is that for every piece that you have attached to your weapon, you get 5 health regeneration in combat. So, what that really means is if you can get 9 of them attached to your weapon, you'll gain 45 health back every turn. And, if you're familiar with the combat system in this game at all, you're going to really realize how insane that actually is. It makes your main character basically, or whoever you decide to put them on, nigh unkillable until much later, I think, in the game. So, again, up to you if you want to spend a ton of, and it will take a ton of time to farm out even just 9 of them, and if you want to do it for multiple characters, you're looking at quite a bit more time. But again, I did it, and I've been, I don't know, pretty happy with the results. I don't know how many people are going to be willing to spend hours. I mean, I'm no joke. It was hours to get those. So, again, up to you. So here is the guy. You two came all the way up here. I'm gonna give you a nice reward for your carriage. And this guy. Okay, so let's give you the prosperity crystal. So again, being that I came here with Ted, that is why I got that prosperity crystal. If I would have come up here all alone, which I wish I would have done, I would have got the fortune rune instead. But hey, it's all good. It's not that big of a deal. And again, up to you. If you want to use Marco's little trick to gain a ton of money, I would definitely say, go with the fortune room. Otherwise, if you're more worried about, or if you want to not use Marco's money trick, then by all means, just go ahead and pick up Ted, and then come here, and then that'll, again, it'll get you twice the amount of money after every fight. So it can, in all honesty, both are useful. It's just, again, if you're gonna use the Marco glitch, you're not gonna need money, period. It's really kind of what it comes down to. So all right, there is nothing else in Sika. There is a water crystal. I would not recommend buying that. I actually did buy it, but wouldn't say I really regretted it, but it didn't come in. It did not. I did not find it useful at all. So, this game is very. I feel like it's very consumable oriented especially at the very beginning of the game. For one thing, or one of the cool things about this game that I actually wasn't used to. Here we go. Here's the big battle with the slasher rabbits. So these guys can actually bring the pain a little bit. Yeah, well, not really to me anymore, but again, you know, I'm crazy leveled. But anyways, so this game is, like I said, was saying, it's very like consumables based, I'd say. Just because of the way the magic works and whatnot, you don't really have, you know, MP per se. You get a certain amount of spells that are usable, really dependent on your level. And it's interesting, you know, to say the least. I don't know why I grabbed that clone crystal. That just sat in my inventory forever. I would not recommend grabbing any of these chests, by the way, the first time you come through. I ended up getting, like, I was actually running into inventory problems because I had so much stuff, you know, eventually. So again, I would not recommend grabbing that clone crystal. It's not useful. It's just going to take up an inventory spot for a long time, and you're severely limited. So that was another interesting thing about this game is, you know, you don't have like a big party inventory per se. There are, I don't know, you almost call them like special items that don't actually go to your characters. So each one of your characters has like, what is it? Is it 10 spots? I want to say it's 10. But your armor and whatnot takes up some of those spots. So, you know, you're limited on how much you can carry and equip at the same time. So, but you know, and again, so at the beginning of the game, you're going to be doing the majority of your healing with consumables like medicine. And you know, the cool thing about medicine is it does stack up at least to 6. So, you know, you're not running around with you know, your armor and then 6 medicines because you don't have any other room. You get stacks of 6 at a time, so you know you can really load your characters up and have plenty of medicine and not worry, you know, about running out in mid dungeon or something. But you got to be mindful that you don't have an infinite inventory like a lot of games. And then one of the other cool things that I'd like to comment on is actually at the end of battle, if one of your characters died during the battle, there are no special items to like revive them to 1 health or, you know, restore them to, you know, wounded or unwounded status or something like that. Like, you know, the Final Fantasy games have their Phoenix Downs and whatnot. This game, on the other hand, is different in that you just use a medicine on them even if they're at 0 health. Now, granted, though, you have to keep in mind that's after battle. If one of your characters dies during battle, you cannot revive them with just a medicine alone. You actually have to use I don't remember if there's items that will revive you. There might be, and that might be a bit later because I haven't actually gone to that point, and I just don't remember. But I do know there are eventually magic spells that, you know, but same kind of deal, we won't have access to for a long time. So, you know, I guess just keep that in mind when somebody dies in battle, especially at the beginning of the game. There's not going to be any way to revive that person until after the battle is over. You know, so I guess maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it keeps you a little more cautious. Yeah, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Otherwise, you know, sometimes some of these games can kind of feel like there's no real penalty. Because, I mean, and, you know, and a lot of times there's the item that it takes to revive your character is, like, so cheap that it's like, why, you know, whatever. It's not going to hurt you anyway, so. Alright, so we're heading back to Gregminster. Now that you've got that brand new, you know, prosperity rune or fortune rune, if you so desire, you may be it may be burning a hole in your inventory and you want to equip it right away, but I would not recommend that at all, especially if you try to equip it to the hero, because you will lose it. So do not do that. It's a lot of work and a lot of running around to lose something like that at the beginning of the game. So here, there we go. I already had, look at that. That was my 6th rune fragment that I tossed on. And I actually do want to comment on one interesting thing. The 2 of the fragments apparently in the PlayStation, the actual PlayStation version. And then I don't know if it was on the PSP version as well. I don't remember, so I'm sorry if it's not the case, but on my version anyway, the one that I recently purchased off the PlayStation Network here, they actually fixed this issue. But anyways, what it was in the other versions is they had made a translation error. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Made a translation error on the Earth and Wind rune fragments. So, anytime you see these rune fragments, like if you're trying to look things up, they would actually be switched. So, I believe in this version they're actually translated correctly. So, if you see that you've got a Earth rune in your inventory, you have an Earth rune in your inventory, whereas in the other games, a wind rune or an item that was called a wind rune in your inventory was actually, and in all reality, an Earth rune fragment, that is. So, again, depending on what version you're actually playing, that may throw you off a bit, especially if you're trying to look up information from various different sites, as the really good Suiko source site even commented that they were not labeled correctly, or that there was a translation error. So anyway, we're here at the hero's house, and I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I was messing around with Gremio, I guess. And nothing in here. Alright, so here's where Ted actually, I don't know, it's kind of weird. He was already kind of with you, So it's kind of weird that he asks to join you. I mean, we already said, or whatever. He's already been following us around. Whatever. I guess maybe it's just making it official. I don't know. So, Ted wants to talk. Basically, he wants to talk about his meeting with the Emperor. Kind of best friend stuff. Like, hey, what was it like? And then he says that he's got something to tell the hero, and that it'll basically he wants to tell him, and he kind of gets interrupted. So that kind of will come into play in a little bit later. So obviously, so Tio is praising Gremio for all the work that he's done to basically to help raise the hero. And I now that I think about it, I don't know if they ever mention what happened to the hero's mother. I don't know. I don't know if that there's any mention of the hero's mother at all, in the game. I'm obviously a few hours ahead of this story-wise, but I haven't seen a single thing. All right, so Tio comes up, obviously in the middle of the night, and he has to leave, Yeah, so he's just asking Gremio to take care of you. Good old Gremio. Gremio in combat? I don't know. I don't know about him. I don't know what to say. I like that he's medium ranged, so what that means is you can stick him in either the front row or the back row, and he can still attack. So if you stick him in the back row, he can still attack the enemy's front row. He won't be able to reach the back row in either spot. If you have him in the front or the back, he can't reach the back row. So, you know, whatever. I don't know that really comes into play a whole lot sometimes. Oh, and actually, you know, now that I think about it, I'll probably just mention or talk about Pawn and Cleo here real quick too. So Pawn and Cleo are basically the heroes. I don't know. I guess you'd say bodyguards. Alright, so now we got 10 with us. Pawn's got he's got what's called the Borun. It's okay. The problem with Pawn is he's not all that accurate, so that Borun actually does help him actually hit things, but I'm trying to think right off the top of my head if it's only 1.5 times the damage or something like that, so it's not like it's that great. And I'm trying to think of how I set my people up here. Cleo, again, you know, I guess as being that I had that extra water rune that I bought, that's where I put it. It's just not all that useful. It's not, I don't know. At least not right away. I found other things more useful. But then I don't remember if I put the holy. I think I put the holy crystal on Gremio instead of the prosperity. And then that clone. So again, you know, I grabbed that clone crystal from Mount Tigerwolf, and you know, you can't do anything with it for a long time. So, you know, again, whoops. Shouldn't have really done that because it didn't, you know, it just didn't do any good. If you don't plan on putting if you don't plan on using Marco to get money, you know, go ahead and just put that prosperity rune on Gremio. However, if you did decide to use the Marco way to gain money, I guess you could, you know, and if you grabbed the, what was it, the fortune rune instead, or the fortune crystal, I would stick that again on Gremio. So that's, you know, that's my recommendation. And again, you know, if I could do it all over, I wouldn't have taken the prosperity crystal. I would have actually grabbed the fortune rune instead. So being that I was using the or that I grabbed the prosperity rune and I had so much money, I didn't feel like that prosperity crystal was going to do me much good, so I equipped the holy crystal instead, which is actually a drop from the mosquitoes outside of town. So yeah, you know, if you feel like that's something that you want to try to get, then that's how you do it. Just and the good thing about the mosquitoes is there's 6 of them, and when you do encounter them, I think it's always a group of 6. There could be one more formation that maybe has less, but so that, you know, it definitely will increase the probability that you'll actually get one from a single battle, just because there are so many of them. So and here, obviously, with getting the new people, getting Gremio, Cleo, and Pawn, I decided to you know, basically equip them all, or get them all geared up as fast as I could. So And here's how I kind of set the party up. I put Pawn and Gremio in the front and Cleo and Ted in the back. I think it just makes sense, being that those, Ted and Cleo are long range. If you feel like Gremio or Pawn are getting slaughtered and in every fight and they can't seem to level, you might want to think about moving Ted up to the front instead, because if you've leveled him like I did, he's gonna be way more durable for a long time than those other two, while they catch up. And then here I brought everybody to the blacksmith and sharpened everyone's weapons up to 5. Obviously I have plenty of cash, and then again, if you've decided to not go with making money from Marco, then you can just go outside and grind out some monsters until you get your weapons and armor to where you need them to be. I wouldn't say that it's actually necessary at all to go and crazy power yourself up right now, but that's kind of how I like to do it. So you'll probably be just fine if you I shouldn't say just fine. You're gonna have a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge to try to get through that first dungeon with your characters being super weak, but whatever. If you like a challenge, then by all means go right ahead. And those capes are really good. Defense +3. And then you saw the what was it in Gregminster, the wing boots. Those things are just great, man. Those are gonna be Cleo's best. Like I'll call them just like accessories. I think that's what they're actually called here. Let me see. Oh, the other. It's called the other slot. I'm just gonna call them accessories because that's basically what they are. But you can buy, obviously, if you've got the cash, you can pick up 2 of them. And the good thing about those is the defense value is really good on them, as well as it gives her, I believe it gives her a little speed. Not exactly sure off the top of my head how much it gives her, but each one gives her a little bit of speed, so definitely worth picking up if you've got the cash. So let's see here. It's looking like I'm getting set up. I think I'm still missing some. It looked like I'm missing some armor or something, maybe for Pawn. I don't know. Welcome, this is the armory. That's what I imagine she sounds like. There you go. There's the leather coat for Pawn. Unfortunately, he can't use the brass armor. The gear system in this game is kind of different. There's some male-only equipment. There's some female-only equipment, and then there's like heavy armor versus leather, and there's all kinds of just different stuff. So I mean, I don't know how much that really matters. I mean, obviously, from each character to character, it matters because you just can't. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, I tried to equip the clone crystal and you can't. And I don't know why I put that back on. I know that didn't last very long. I put that prosperity crystal on, and I know I ended up switching pretty soon after. But anyway, so back to the different armor, setups, or the different armor classes. It doesn't really matter. You're gonna just try to, set your characters up as best you can. Basically do the best with what you've got is how it really, boils down. There's Marco again. Poor Marco. Guy's gotta be just broke. He probably had to get money from. Well, maybe we won't get into that. I'm not gonna take guesses at how that guy makes his money, but But it seems like every time I talk to him, I take it. So yeah, so I think this is right before I think at this point I decided to go back to Mount Tigerwolf and level up the three, Cleo, Gremio, and Pawn, just because I wanted to get them a little beefier before the first dungeon. It's, you know, again, not necessarily especially if you've got your hero and Ted leveled up as high as I do, but you know, something that I wanted to do nonetheless. And what am I doing back in here? I guess just making sure that I've got the best armor for everybody. I think that was my train of thought anyway. Yep. Speed bonus on those. So yeah, that is gonna bring this video to a close. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But hope this video was helpful, and you join me for more. All right, thanks for watching.